have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
Why? Say it!
Yeah. What is good for? Absolutely
nothing. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Good answer. Good answer.
Welcome back to Steelers Sanctuary War Room. This is part 2. Hopefully people will rejoin momentarily. Trent accidentally ended the stream, so hopefully everybody will realize that and jump over to this one. We were talking a little bit about MVS and getting a helmet today, and Adam Thielen and what's going to happen. So, there's going to be some interesting things that happen today. Personally, I think the defense is going to have a little bit of a day, mostly.
Hold on.
Back.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. You accidentally ended the stream, so we had to start over.
Oh, Jesus. I was trying to restart my tablet. I don't know what was going on. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem at all. So Adam is back.
Adam, you're back. I appreciate it. Technical difficulty is always fun.
All right, so Trent, I've been talking about how, Thielen could be a nice tactician, find holes in the zone. MVS can go over the top. Give us your thoughts on if the Steelers are going to throw the ball.
I posted about it. I'm hoping this team is going to open up the offense a little bit. I saw some pretty disturbing stats this morning when I was watching NFL Game Day on ESPN, and it said Aaron Rodgers the last 4 weeks throwing to wide receivers is 42% completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a rating of 7. So I'm hoping that we start to turn those things around today. MVS is somebody he is comfortable with already. Adam Thielen is a veteran, is a guy that you think he would have some trust in. He does, like you said, he wins routes. And we've been saying all season, this team has needed a.
Uh-oh. I think Trent has froze up again. We lost his audio. Trent, he froze up again. Okay, so let's talk a little defense while Trent's efforting to get through his technical difficulties. Oh, there are you back? Nope, can't hear you. But he's rebooting again. Let's talk a little bit of defense. I think TJ Watt has traditionally had pretty good games against the Ravens. He's had a down year, no question about it. And at this point, you got to think TJ has heard it. And last you could see it at the press conference last week. I think it's palpable. And I've said for a long time on the podcast, if you're following it, that TJ, the plan since he's been drafted is TJ's going to make a play. There is no defensive scheme. It's just TJ Watt's going to break the game open. Nick Herbig has kind of taken a little bit of that role, but he's not the player TJ Watt is. TJ Watt can still wreck a game. And if ever the Steelers needed it, and if ever TJ needed it, it's today. And I think he's going to do it. I mean, I think he hears the noise. On a day where Myles Garrett maybe breaks the sack record against the Titans, you just feel like he wants to put a big game together and once again show that in the biggest spots he shows up and he makes a play. Is it going to work? I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I saw in the comments earlier, we're hoping and praying. We hate the Ravens. I'm sorry. I've heard a lot of this. Let's root for the Steelers to lose, all that good stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Hall of Fame Herbig's got to have a big day today. Shower. I mean, but it's just me and the fans. There we go. We should have a lot of fun with this. Hopefully Trent will get back. We do have some film to go through. Worst case scenario, I'll go through it. I'm not Trent, but I have thoughts. And Trent is coming back. We think he's almost in. I do think, Murph, I'm in agreement. I feel like there is going to be an element with Thielen and MVS, a trust level there that he is going to want to go a little no huddle today. He's going to want to speed up tempo.
Can you hear me now, Bob?
We can hear you now, Trent.
What the hell? The Cullen virus is now making its way around all of Steeler Sanctuary, apparently, because I've not had trouble like this in a while. So
yeah, I had trouble on Friday night. Remember?
Yeah.
Going in and out. So
I don't know what's going on.
okay, so how about we jump into some tape before we lose you?
Yes,
right.
Let's start that.
And Shower pointed out it's got to be a big game for Hall of Fame Herbig today. So
It's a great place to start.
absolutely. Let me rewind this a little bit.
All right, so we're going to highlight Nick Herbig this week in the player highlight section. So Nick Herbig setting the edge. The Bills are in a 12 personnel tight formation with Herbig on the weak side. He does a great job setting the edge here with the tackle. You can see he stays on that outside shoulder, but does not give up a lot of ground going uphill. Or downhill, I should say. So he does not try to get too far into the backfield, giving the running back a lane back inside. So I thought he did a really good job. We highlight how often he's such a great pass rusher. I thought this was a good opportunity to highlight how far he's come as a run defender. You can see he just holds his ground right here. He's got good leverage. He's up underneath the lineman. I know this is a backup tackle in this scenario, but he's been doing this pretty consistently now. And then he actually gets off the tackle pretty easily here to make a play. So I thought this was a great job of just showing the way he can not only set the edge, which we had a lot of trouble with in that game, let's be honest, but also getting off of the block, shedding it to come make a tackle. I love that play from him. The next play here, the Bills are coming out in 11 personnel. This was a 3rd and long. And this is a play where we have all 3 edge rushers on the field at the same time with Patrick Queen. So I love the look in obvious passing situations. We've been doing this more and more frequently. He provides one of the very few pressures on the day. He doesn't finish, but I love the way they use him looping around. You can see on the screen there, he's in the middle. He loops around both Black and Cam Hayward. Wraps up, and you'll see it better on this angle here. You'll see he's actually on the right side there. You'll see him between TJ Watt and Patrick Queen's actually the guy up on the line of scrimmage. And then you'll see as the play starts here, he loops outside of both Cam Hayward and Y.A. Black and gets pressure on Josh Allen. Doesn't quite finish, but I love the way that they use this on obvious passing situations because having all 3 edge rushers is a big win for us. You'll see the running back tries to pick him up. It just doesn't. It's a mismatch.
So, Trent, I know the rumor is that TJ doesn't want to, but don't you think if TJ is the guy doing this loop, that when he gets right here to Josh Allen and he gets his hand on him, that TJ is making this tackle, whereas, let's be honest, Herbig is half the size of Josh Allen.
Yeah. He definitely has a size mismatch in this one. I would think so. I mean, TJ's made a career of bringing guys down. Josh is, I mean, he's tough to bring down anyway. He's a big boy. But I would think TJ, possibly even Alex, might both make that play. You can see Herbig just gets him. And arm tackling Josh Allen's a tall task for a guy that's probably getting outweighed by 20 pounds in this exchange. It's a tough task to ask him to do, but I love the way that he got pressure off of this. I like the formation on the obvious passing situations, and you can see no matter what, it still forces a bad throw, and it's an easy turnover on downs in that situation.
Yeah, and you can see Allen checks and thinks he's coming up the middle, and then that little loop around, you get him one-on-one with a back. There's not very many backs. He's not going to bulldoze them like TJ would or Alex would, but good luck with a back trying to block him and get his feet set. He's going to go right around that every time.
Yeah, I'll take a running back trying to block him, Patrick Queen, even Peyton Wilson all day. I mean, it's just a mismatch. So I like when we're starting to bring pressure in those situations as long as we can cover up on the back end.
All right, let's take a look at the next one.
So this time the Bills are in an offset I and 21 personnel. Steelers are in their base. It was one of the few times we were in base. Herbig does a nice job of recognition on this play is what I actually thought was saying. He was going to jam Gabe Davis off the line, recognizes it's a run right away, tries to get upfield. You'll see he looks like he's going to jam. Then he gets outside of Davis, recognizes the play is a run right away. And you can see him trying to, again, set the edge. Set contain. He's trusting the linebackers, which in this case, We got Harrison as the closest guy to fill that hole. Cam gets pressure on this too, which made some difference because you see the back has to bounce out. This is James Cook. Harrison is in the right spot on his side. And then you see Herbig is just holding his ground again. This is again where he just holds his ground, sets the edge. This forces Cook to continue to try to go outside. Now, if he gets too far upfield on this play, Cook is going to cut that right inside of him. And then you've got James Pierre one-on-one with a guy who could get out to block him. And that's still, again, that's Gabe Davis, who is a good blocking wide receiver. This could have sprung for a really big play if Herbig misplays the edge on this. And you'll see he just holds his ground, sheds, makes Cook bounce further outside. This allows your defense to kind of come gang tackle him. And you'll see, like, if they would have cut upside, if he gets too far, I'm putting it on the screen again. I don't have a pointer. Yeah. But if he goes too far upfield and forces Cook inside, look where Gabe Davis is now on Pierre. He would have cut right upfield, and that would have been a real big running lane for him to get through. If it was about 2 frames back, you would have seen him cut straight upfield. But because Herbig held his ground on the edge, did not get too far upfield, this forces Cook to bounce outside. It gave Harrison time to fill that hole. And now you've got both Herbig, Pierre, and Harrison where they can all get towards the carrier and gang tackle.
And I know that we had some stuff on the podcast the other night and really all week that Malik Harrison, he's terrible. You know, he actually does a really good job on. I think he did a better job of it than Queen or Wilson would have done, because when he gets into that hole and he's holding off the guard with his left hand, he's there to make the play. Cook has to bounce it outside, and because Herbig is doing what he's supposed to do, this play goes nowhere. It's one of the few times where Cook bounced outside and didn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
because everybody did the right thing.
And the problem was TJ was not setting the edge the same way that Herbig was setting the edge, and that was a big difference. And I pointed out, we talk about how good TJ's been historically as a run defender, not in this game. But Herbig, I mean, look at this. He does a great job. Now, he didn't force the fumble on this. You know, he wraps Cook and Cook's, you know, the way he was carrying the ball hits him in the leg, and that's actually what forces the fumble. But you can clearly see there's nowhere for him to go. I mean, no matter what happened, this is a 5-yard loss at best. Instead, he fumbles, and it gives the whole defense a chance to go after. Because look how many black jerseys there are as opposed to white jerseys right now. Mm-hmm. There was no chance this play was going anywhere.
Yeah, this was one of the few plays, if they can maintain this discipline today, they could make things interesting. Derrick Henry doesn't bounce. He can bounce to the outside, but it's not his first preference. He's going to just hit the hole, and he's going to bounce once he gets through the hole. I think if you can get Derrick Henry running wide behind the line of scrimmage, that's kind of where you want to be with the Ravens.
Yep. We're going to highlight a little bit of that, and we're going to highlight a little bit of how to slow Henry down too, because I thought the Cincinnati Bengals did a pretty good job. I mean, I think he ended up, I can't remember, I didn't check the stats. I was more watching the film, but I think he ended up with like 60 yards and a touchdown or something like that. But he had a big run pretty early in that game.
Yeah, and Shower's got a good point here. He watched the Madden simulator. Steelers beat Baltimore 35-21. I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. I do think this is going to be one touchdown each and a bunch of field goals, and give me Boz over Tyler Luke. I think there'll be a lot of movement, but both teams will have a little bit of a problem in the red zone. I think the Steelers' problem will be getting in the red zone, and that they'll have a lot of drives that end up around the 25, and we'll see 40-yard field goals from Boz. Lamar or Derrick Henry is going to get loose for a run. It's going to happen. I don't care how good they play against the run today. One of those two guys is going to get loose.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just going to be a matter of, look, if the Ravens run for 150 yards, we lose. If the Ravens run for less than 150 yards, I think we got a good chance.
Yeah. It's going to be a big key, because I'll tell you what, we're going to get into some things that I want to show you guys about Lamar. Lamar does not look right. He does not look right. So,
all right, so let's talk about offense for the Ravens.
Ravens offense. Okay, so this time the Ravens are coming out in a tight formation out of 12 personnel. They will show you why Henry hasn't been as effective this year. They run a duo and they try to get a push right up the middle. They don't really get a lot of push though, and there's not a lot of opening right here. So if you see, this is duo where you see both the all four really of the inside offensive linemen. You see how they double both of the defensive linemen in the middle for the Bengals, and you're going to see both guys try to work off of those blocks upfield to get the linebackers, but they just don't get enough of a push. And you see Geno Stone is starting to come downhill as a safety in this play to take away one of the running lanes. Derrick Henry tries to get back inside to go up the middle, but the Bengals just held their ground, and they do a really good job. This ends up being about a 3-yard gain or so, but there just wasn't anywhere for him to run the ball. And then, of course, Derrick Henry is a freaking beast, so you have to gang tackle here, and the Cincinnati Bengals on this play did a really, really good job of doing exactly that.
Yeah, I don't – I said this the other night on the podcast, and I do want to reiterate this about Henry, is – Henry has a great cut to the outside when he's 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. James Cook is great at bouncing it behind the line of scrimmage and then hitting and going. I think, we said it a minute ago, I think if you can get Henry running laterally behind the line of scrimmage, you can make plays on him. But if he bounces it 2 yards, 3 yards down the field, I'm sorry, we don't have even Jalen Ramsey one-on-one against Derrick Henry. I don't like those odds, and especially now he's built this head of steam. Now, if you can get him at the line, behind the line, things are happening. But if he's a yard or two down the field and then he's starting to cut or lower his shoulder, look the fuck out.
Yeah. They do. He is much more effective being that one cut runner that he's been throughout his career. And when you get that load he's got with some momentum going downhill, that becomes a problem. So I'm going to show you a play on the next one here. This is one that scares me. So you see the Ravens coming out. They're in a 12 personnel. They got Patrick Card in the game as a tight end in this one. This is one where it shows he can get outside, but he still wants to get that one cut and hit downhill really quickly. The line is
good here.
Yeah, the line is running like a power concept where they're pulling out to the left. Watch Henry just sit back, wait, and then he sees the cutback lane and just explodes up through this. And you're just not going to arm tackle this guy. This is doesn't matter how old he is as a runner. This doesn't even look like there's anything there at this stage. But the Ravens do enough to just keep him moving. And then here's the guy who had an attempt to get an arm tackle, which he didn't really wrap at all. But look, there's nothing behind it. So this is the problem with Derrick Henry and the Ravens offense is if you get everybody over pursuing, Henry has good vision as a back. He gets upfield, and I'm sorry, there's no DB that's stopping this right here. You're just diving to accidentally kick a foot to hope he falls down before he gets to the goal line. This ends up being a big play for a touchdown for the Ravens. So this is one where we saw what Cook did to us last week. We saw how we were tending to under pursue. We were actually going too far on the inside. This is a case of the Bengals defense that was over pursuing, opening up a cutback lane. So I don't really love that play worked so well against Cincinnati after what we just saw last week.
And then kind of to the point here. All right, so he's going laterally, but you notice here, nobody's around him. If you can get him laterally and actually all these 4 or 5 guys who are 4 yards down the field, he's got all the time in the world to be patient and make his cut. If you get him laterally, you have got to get to him laterally before he can take his time, look, and make his decision.
Yeah.
Look, the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer for a reason. He's a great running back. But
sure,
he's a guy, if you can keep him out towards that sideline, or let's say it's Herbig, funneling him back in, well, now you have to have Harrison, or you have to have YA, or you have to have Cam there to make the play square, not reach out and grab him. And if they have pushed you 2 yards down the field, it's an 8-yard run. And that's if you're lucky. It's an 8-yard run.
And this play, this is also part of why I highlighted the Nick Herbig package with him setting the edge, because you can see no one on Cincinnati actually sets the edge on this play.
Yep.
That's why they were allowed to get outside. So you got to have guys that are able to set the edge, and sometimes it is going to have to be the corners. And we saw that Joey Porter was a little late to that. He made some nice tackles last week, but he was a little late to the party in doing those. Asante Samuel was a little late to the party making those tackles. James Pierre a little late to the party. Like, it's why Cook kept going. And so sometimes when they run those concepts where everyone on the line is crashing down and pulling, you've got to have corners that are willing to force that running back inside where you've got help. And the Bengals didn't do it on that one, and we weren't doing it last week. So hopefully guys like Herbig, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, they can set those edges better today. And that's something that we can try to do a little bit better.
Murph brings up a good point here. With the fumble streak and the peanut punch, I think you do want to go for the peanut punch a little bit, but I think it's dangerous with Henry, because if you go for that and miss, he's just going to run right by you or run over you. Maybe TJ from behind, Herbig from behind going for the punch, but that's got to be paired with a guy squared up, ready to hit and make the tackle. And then the guy from behind or the guy coming in from the side doing the peanut punch. If he bounces to the outside and instead of, say, TJ on the edge, and then TJ, instead of tackling, goes to punch the ball, I don't think that ends well for us.
Yeah. Again, you can't arm tackle him, so it's hard to peanut punch if you're the only guy there, because that means he's gonna. If you don't get it, Henry's gone.
Yeah,
that's the problem. All right, so this was an intriguing defensive look here. So the Bengals start out showing 7 at the line of scrimmage with the Ravens in an 11 personnel look. They only end up bringing 4 and playing man on the back end of this thing. They run a stunt up front, and you can see the guard does a terrible job, and I'll show you the stunt better here on the second look. But the guard does not do a good job of picking up the initial man in the press, the guy who's the presser, and then the stunt man wraps around, and they both end up coming pretty cleanly. So you see the guard should be passing off the first man to the tackle once they recognize stunt, but he doesn't even slow him down. So you can see 58 right here getting uphill. He's going to go after the guard and then take out the tackle. See how he turns his body to take out the tackle out of that play? And the guard isn't passing him off. He's waiting to pick up the guy who's the stunt guy, but you set your tackle up terribly to pick up the first guy through. So that was a horrible blocking job right there on that play. And then it just ends up being Lamar cannot escape that. I mean, they're in too quickly. There's nothing he can really do about that. It ends up being a big fumble, sets the Bengals up for a touchdown, I think 2 plays later. So that's a terrible blocking scheme. So their offensive line has struggled this year, is kind of why I wanted to point that out. They're not the same offensive line they were last year. And this is a play where I just think Lamar does not look right. So forget about the formations, forget about the play, watch Lamar scrambles. Even though he doesn't feel right, you see the Bengals actually have a quarterback spy on this play in the middle of the field. He comes down to attack Lamar. Lamar still has the speed, even though he's hurt, to get outside of you and create. Now, when the play was over, this is very brief. You can see some labor in him walking back to the huddle. I thought he just did not look right at all at that point. But, I mean, even hurt, he still has the speed to just take off and make something out of nothing here. So, I mean, you can clearly see the linebacker goes for the fake, but he does not think Lamar is going to pull away from him. He was counting on Lamar being hurt enough to where he could still keep up and catch him. And hurt or not, Lamar's still able to just pull away from you and make something out of nothing. You see him decelerate right there at the end, but when he turned around, I noticed that he just didn't look right. And there was a couple of other plays that I saw on some throws. I kind of charted here. He's not following through on throws right now, which is a big issue. He's missing open receivers because he's not following through. It's the left, like knee, ankle, toe. I mean, he's got a bunch of stuff on the same leg there. And that's his lead leg when he's throwing, which he's not wanting to put full pressure on when he's doing his follow through. Mm-hmm. And there was a couple times I saw him kind of like hop off that leg after a throw where he sailed one, and that's going to happen. So I'm curious to see if we're able to play well on the back end of this thing, I think Lamar is going to give us an interception on this because he's not going to follow through. The ball, when you don't follow through, tends to go high. When it tends to go high, it's a high risk for interception in the NFL. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. I think Lamar is going to give us the ball if we can make him a passing quarterback in this one.
All right, so let's talk about the Ravens defense, if we can call it that.
Ravens defense has struggled this year. So the Bengals are going to come out in 11 personnel. They bring the wide receiver motion, recognize this as a cover 2 zone. The attention is drawn to Jamar Chase, which allows the outside receiver a free look downfield. So here's why I'm highlighting this play. There's going to be a couple of these where we highlight cover 2, because apparently, according to everybody in Pittsburgh, you can't throw the fucking ball against cover 2. That's been the excuse why we can't get DK open all year. But you see, number one, there's protection. It's a clean pocket for Burrow. He's got time to throw. He just misses on this one. But look where the receiver's at. He's behind Humphrey. Humphrey is getting older. He does not have the speed. We've seen Pickens beat him in the past. He still plays at a pretty good level, but he's just not the same guy. The safety on this play, I can't remember if this was Stokes, the kid from Georgia, or not. He cannot cover. But I thought if you could, I don't know, are you back to the beginning of that? Let's go back to the beginning of the first look there, because I want, if you see, Jamar Chase is in the slot down here at the bottom of the screen. And if we watch the way this develops, watch how much attention he draws on this. We like to use DK as a decoy. Here's how you do it. Watch. You see, there's 3 sets of eyes on Jamar Chase as he comes upfield. It's clearly a zone. Humphrey gets beat because he's watching Chase, not the outside receiver. So watch him hesitate right there. Do you see where he plants that foot? He's looking to come up and get Chase, and he's counting on that safety to cover. I mean, that's probably what, 30 yards of ground on the back end. There's no way you're getting
from
there.
The hash 20, maybe 25.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a long way for a safety to cover. And Chase he draws so much attention on this. This is a play where I think Roman Wilson, or now MVS, could be the other guy. If they're going to play that same type of formation against DK Metcalf, if Metcalf is in the Chase role as the slot receiver, which I've been calling for him to be in the slot more, run MVS straight downfield on that play. Big, tall, fast player. He's been a big play guy. Aaron trusts him. He's not throwing the ball to Roman Wilson right now. Let that be MVS in that play, and let's see if we can get a big play touchdown out of this, because we are not throwing the ball downfield at all. And the other thing about this play, they had 3 guys past, 8, 9, 10 yards. MVS targets over under 2.5. I'm going to take the under. I don't think it's a lot.
I think Thielen will be the guy who gets more touches, but I think 2 MVS targets, 1 big catch would be very much a game changer for this offense.
Yeah, we need it
early in the game too. Early in the game.
Over here, I'm trying to. I thought the other thing about that was the Ravens' pass rush is just not very good. So this next one, Bengals are coming out in 11 personnel. Gesicki is split out in the spot. It is a zone coverage. It's a play I'd love to see from a guy like Pat Freiermuth. You can just see that Gesicki does a great job. He finds the zone. He sits down in the zone. Burrow gets it out quickly, and this is just an easy zone beater. This is something that Pat Freiermuth has done well over his career. I don't know what the hell is going on with the usage with him, but they, Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith allegedly said they view him as the zone beater, and, Jonnu is the guy who's better at man. Well, they run a lot of zone. So if you think he's your zone beater, then you need to have him be your zone beater against this Ravens defense who runs a lot of zone. So I think, they're saying Roman Wilson's inactive.
Wow.
That's interesting.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think he's played poorly enough to be inactive.
Vaughn, you just threw me all off, buddy. I appreciate it, though. Thanks for the heads up. But I think I think that's
getting open is. Good point, Vaughn.
yes. Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, you just completely threw me off. All right. Here's another play. We're back. We're at the Gesicki play still. So I think this is a great Pat Freiermuth play in my opinion.
Just out of curiosity, what if this is Darnell?
I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with that too.
You know what I want to honestly see at some point in this game is Darnell catch the ball on the run one-on-one with Kyle Hamilton, because I would be fascinated to watch who pops who on that.
Just see how it ends. Yeah. I think as good as Kyle Hamilton is and as big of a hitter as he is, I think even he's going for the legs.
Yeah,
I don't think he wants any part of that. 311 pounds coming downhill just does not sound like a fun day at the office for a DB.
No, I don't think so either.
All right, so this is another one I want to show that you can attack cover 2 downfield to the sidelines. So you have to have more than one guy running a route beyond 10 yards. So that's step 1. If you're going to attack cover 2, you have to have more than one guy. In this play, you can see 3 guys for the Bengals downfield about 15 yards. They get it downfield to Chase. He's in a one-on-one coverage in this situation. The safety, again, cannot get there because he's held by the middle of the field. Rewind back just a little bit on this, Bob, because I want to show why this play worked. So okay. if you look, go back just a little further, if you can. All right.
All the way back to the beginning.
Let's set this thing up. All right, so you're going to see Chase at the bottom of the screen. So first of all, you see Chase starting to press toward the number first. That's creating separation at the bottom of the screen. Now, if you see the top 2 receivers, you have a safety at the very top of your screen at the 40. And if you pause right here, you see the tight end here in the middle of the field. Now, you have linebackers right around that guy, but because he's going to end up slipping behind the linebackers, the safety in the middle of the field right now has to honor that. Right here, you can start to see he's coming back across to get to this outside behind the 2 linebackers in the zone. That held the safety just enough. And by that time, the safety recognizes Chase is just going straight downfield. Burrow's already releasing the ball. So you held the safety by having 2 deep routes behind the linebackers, and Chase gets behind everyone on this play. That basically creates it as if it's a one-on-one opportunity. That has been the problem with the DK Metcalf stuff all season long. You're not holding that safety. You're just running the one guy downfield. Everyone else is underneath, and they're short of the linebackers in the zone. You can't do anything with that. You've got to get the guys back behind the linebackers. And this is part of the problem with trying to pass out of these 12 personnel sets is we're just not winning those, and we're not getting depth at all. You've got to get some guys downfield to open up the zone and create separation for your wide receivers. In this scenario, it was Jamar Chase. Jamar's a great receiver. He's going to win a lot of one-on-one. But again, it's Marlon Humphrey getting beat. DK Metcalf is actually faster than Jamar Chase. He will get downfield faster than Jamar Chase. He does not need the same separation. Mm-hmm. So I just thought this was, again, we can't throw to the sideline on cover 2. Well, guess what? Cincinnati did it just fine against the Baltimore cover 2. We should be able to too. We just have to get receivers downfield to open up the cover 2. And then when you get the checkdowns to Jaylen Warren, there's not 5 guys there. They're coming from 15, 20 yards away.
You know, it'll be interesting with the Roman Wilson news, and I noticed Vaughn's putting Calvin Anderson. He's been kind of hurt all week. He wasn't really expected to play. So, yeah, Andres Pete's the starter. Dylan Cook is basically the only other tackle they got on the practice squad. So I'm not surprised he's there. But if all of a sudden this offense does open up today with Ancient Adam and Marvelous Marvin on the field, or Marvelous Marcus on the field, then maybe we do have to look. Even though Roman Wilson runs open, is he running the wrong route in getting open? And maybe. So Aaron's not even looking at him. I just wonder what the offense looks like today. I feel like there's still something very much there with Roman Wilson. And I think a little more coaching I think the Calvin Austin experiment should be completely over, except for gadgets, slot merchant, crossing route plays, things like that. And if these two guys, and as much as Dave hates old guys, if these two guys come on the field and all of a sudden the offense looks good, wow. Then Dave's point about needing wide receivers for the last year and a half, it becomes really, really valid, because just let's face it, at best, middle of the road guys, if all of a sudden look good in this offense,
Right.
then, which I hope they do, knock on wood. I mean, I'm still rooting for the Steelers. That's what I said earlier when you were having trouble, was the people rooting against the Steelers today because, yes, you think Tomlin will get fired and all that good stuff. I get it, but come on, man. This is Ravens week. You cannot root for this.
Yeah. Well, I thought you brought up a good point in that too, is you're right. We don't know if Roman's running the right routes, or maybe more specifically, we don't know if Roman is getting the depth that Aaron Rodgers is looking for. We don't know if he's snapping his route often as cleanly as what Aaron Rodgers is looking for. There is a preference for quarterbacks in the league, and you could have the route tree on paper look the same for everybody at wide receiver, but that quarterback might want you to run that route, a half yard in from what it says on paper, or he might want you to snap the route off more cleanly and come back to the ball on certain routes. Or, I mean, there's just a number of things that is a preference for the quarterback that maybe he's not really doing well. We don't know. Those are things you can't see on film. We don't know what Aaron's telling Roman Wilson to do, and that could be the problem. I don't know. I think that's a good point by you on that one, Bob, for sure.
All right, I think we got one more play here.
One more. Bengals spread out the Ravens and run the play straight up the middle. ISO is going to be Roquan Smith here. He's right in the middle of your screen. He's the guy pointing around at everybody. He doesn't look like the same guy. I mean, he's slow. He's slow reacting. Chase Brown just went right through the defense with no problem. And you can see a big hole open up. Roquan kind of tries to jump inside, but Chase takes the other lane.
Oh, what happened? Hold on.
We're right back to Hall of Fame Herbig.
Yeah, hold on. I was going to pause this. All right. Well, you hold on. I think this is the.
That's the play. Yep, that's the play to Chase.
Yeah, we're almost there. I was going to say I noticed something on this. Let me advance it just a little bit. All right, we'll switch to this other look here. Sorry, guys, if you're following along.
This one is a good one to look at from the backside here.
Okay, I'm going to hit pause, not start over this time. If you isolate on Roquan for a second, this is something we see Steelers defenders do a lot. It looks like he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah,
because you could see him looking around right before the play.
Yep, he's pointing, his hands are out wide, like somebody's aligned wrong and he's trying to get them to align, or he's not. He sees something in this play that he knows is coming. But I think that he was a very attack downhill guy. You see him pause, and he just waits. And if you wait as a linebacker in this league, you've waited too long. Because
he's just sitting here. Normally he'd be filling that hole.
You can see the Bengals duo is such a huge concept right there. You have the center and the guard blocking down. I can't tell who that is, to be honest with you. And then you see the center come off to come and get Roquan. Roquan waited too long. If he just came straight at Chase Brown in this play, he could have come up and tried to make a play. At least make him bounce somewhere else. He sees a gaping hole. You can't wait forever. I just think Roquan doesn't look like himself. He's not the same player. This wasn't the one isolated play I found on him for these things. It was pretty consistent. So I don't know.
Okay, before we talk about the game, here's a little scene of what it should look like in the Steelers locker room today. All right, and Vaughn is pointing out that Dante Moore, Trent's actually been on this for a while. It's not really surprising. Dante Moore, Trent has basically said for 3 or 4 weeks is going back to school.
Yeah, I found it interesting though. His OC left. I thought maybe that was going to indicate that he was going to come out in the draft, and maybe the OC knew something beforehand, but doesn't look like it.
Vaughn's trying to provoke Trent.
Don't give me no Mendoza bullshit.
Yeah, well,
I still listen from just strictly not taking my bias out of it, from strictly looking at him as an NFL prospect. There was a lot of holes in his game last night. I just thought he held the ball way too long. He took too many sacks. He did not throw the ball away a lot of times. He did make some throws. I mean, he made a handful of good throws. His pocket awareness was not very good. I just do not love Mendoza. I'm telling you, the system opens things up. Once he got past his first read, when it wasn't there, he struggled. I mean, he struggled a lot, I thought. So I don't think he's in most classes. I don't think he's the top quarterback in the class to me.
The thing I like about him, and I've been on him for a while, is kind of my number one guy. The thing I like about him is when the chips are down, now look, if you heard his post-game interview, I get it if people are off of him just because of that. But there's something about the kid. He makes a play when he needs to make a play. There's something about that trait in a quarterback that I love. I felt like Ben had it. I feel like all the great ones have it. Does it mean he's going to be great? No. But does it mean that maybe there's a little something there? I like the clutch gene in a quarterback, especially a guy who has traits. So if you pair traits with the clutch gene, you could probably do worse. Do I think he should be the number one pick in the draft? He's going to be. But do I think that? No, I kind of agree with Trent. But if I was the Steelers and I could get him between 10 and 15, I'd be ecstatic. I really like that kid. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he could fizzle out, but goddamn, so could all the other ones. And do you really want to have the Kyler Murray area in Pittsburgh? Because that's what you're going to get if you don't get Mendoza. I mean, God forbid it's Dave is trying to speak into existence the Drew Aller era, which will last about one half.
Yeah. I don't think he gets through progressions very well. Like, I thought that was apparent. And I get it. Like, I know there was coverage sacks in that game for sure. Yes, definitely. But you can't hold the ball for 4.5 seconds, especially in the NFL. Like, I mean, there was a lot of times he held the ball for a long, long time in the pocket. At some point, your internal clock has to speed up, and you have to throw the ball out of bounds and just live to fight another day. I just don't. I'm telling you guys, there's something about Mendoza. I'm not 100% pointing my finger at it right now, but there's something about Mendoza that I do not like. I don't trust it. He made some big plays, but guess what? Some of those big plays were two of the offensive linemen tackled Kenyatta Jackson on the one play, and that's how he ended up getting outside and making the big play downfield. Like, he's holding the ball forever, and it just doesn't work in the NFL. That scares me. Shedur's going through the same issues right now in Cleveland. He held the ball forever in college. He's having troubles now.
But unlike Shedeur, Mendoza can run. Mendoza can take off. So I think we may see more of a Drake May, Jaden Daniels type adjustment to the NFL, where I'm going to look at my first read. I'm maybe going to go to my second read, but bottom line is I know I can't hold the ball, and I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
And if he develops 3-4 years down the road to looking at everything, then I'm good with that. Because initially, I mean, I don't want to see a Jackson Dart quarterback where it's just RPO every fucking down. That's entertaining football to watch, but you're going to get your quarterback killed doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Somber points out there's always Howard. Yeah. But, I mean, let's face it. If we're down to a 6th-round pick, I mean, do you really think if they sign Kyler Murray can't beat out Will Howard? I guarantee you he can in Mike Tomlin's eyes.
Yeah. There's just – I have Mendoza as a late 1st-round pick. And where you're going to get him is going to be way, way higher than what I think you should. So
and Sellers is another guy who it isn't official, but it should be that he's transferring and going somewhere else to learn how to play that position a little bit better. I agree. Best traits by far.
Oh yeah.
but not ready. No, not ready. Of all the quarterbacks, and I love Lenore Sellers. I was on him before the season, but after a couple of games, I was like, nah, this guy's got to transfer and go somewhere else. That's when I got up Mendoza.
He definitely should.
Yeah, if he comes out, you're right. He's going to go in the first round. I mean, maybe that is a good scenario for the Steelers for him to come out because everybody will fall in love at the top of the draft and pick him when. If he doesn't go somewhere with a great OC who's willing to sit him for a year at least, maybe 2. I know Trent has advocated for the Jordan Love treatment on Lenore Sellers.
I think so for sure.
I think you got
his footwork, his mechanics, they're just so bad. I mean, they're beyond. They're really, really bad. It's not unrepairable, but it's going to take time. And I think that he needs to sit for. In my opinion, I think he needs to sit at least 2 years. So I would stay in school if I were him. I would transfer to a school that's going to be able to develop him better and see how he turns out. Because if he came out right now, I think you could make an argument he'd end up being 1A or 1B to Mendoza in the draft. I think he could be the top pick of the draft just because of the traits alone.
Mm-hmm. Which that would be interesting because Mendoza has traits.
He does.
6'5", 225, and I think he's going to run a pretty good time at the 40. I just think he's got a better arm, better accuracy. He's just got there. I like a cool-headed quarterback. I think he's got that. Will Howard maybe has it. Maybe you get lucky with a 6th-round pick. But the worst thing that could happen is you throw Will Howard into this offense. We get into an RPO thing. He makes just enough plays to get us to 9-8 and 10-7, and we gamble the next 5 years on him. That would be a mistake because I think the league, like Jackson Dart, is going to figure him out very quickly, and then there's going to be problems. Dart is willing to throw his body away, and I'm going to love watching him. I was not a Jackson Dart fan. I still don't think he's going to be a good quarterback, but I do like watching him play. I will give Dave that. I mean, he does play an entertaining brand of football, and for the 2 years he's healthy, he's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. Also, Sid, no. This coaching staff cannot help develop a quarterback at all. I mean, we all know the writing should be on the wall for Mike Tomlin at this point. I don't know if it is, but I mean, if you've watched any of the shows, we've all been advocating for Tomlin to be out because you need. I would love to see Clint Kubiak come in here, pair up with a young quarterback, and see what he's able to do with it. Because you could bring him in, and then you go find another offensive mind to pair with him. You can throw out any name you want in this mix. Brian Daboll would be out there if you paired him with Kubiak. I think that'd be a nice pairing because Daboll does do a really good job with developing quarterbacks too, which is why I thought the Giants firing him was a mistake, especially in the middle of the season. If you wanted to let him go at the end of the season, that's one thing, but they should have let him continue to develop Jackson Dart, in all fairness. If Mike McDaniel gets fired, throw him in there. Zach Taylor, if he gets fired, throw him in there. There's a number of coaches out there, but Kubiak would at least bring an offense.
Yes.
That we haven't seen in a long time.
The one thing I do like about the idea of Kyler Murray, and look, that's not my first choice as a Steelers fan, but the one thing I would like about Kyler Murray is one thing that Russell Wilson maybe could do a little bit when he's younger, but he was never the runner that Kyler Murray is. Murray will take off with the ball, and even though he's been hurt a little bit, he's still lightning when he gets out in space. So,
yeah.
Do I think he's going to be a great Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback and lead us back to the promised land? No, I would not do it myself.
No.
But let's face it, if the organization can get him for $1 million a year, they're going to do it.
Yeah. I don't want to see that pairing, but it might be coming.
Yeah.
It's going to be a nightmare scenario.
It'll be interesting to see today. I do think, I said earlier, I think TJ is going to have a day here because on a day that Myles Garrett may break his sack record, and make no mistake, it's TJ's sack record. He got a sack in that game. They took it away from him. It's TJ's sack record. I think on that day of all days, and he's heard the whispers, it's a waste of $40 million. He looked like a crybaby at the press conference last week, but they ran the same play 20 times in a row. We couldn't stop it. Okay, well, here's an idea. Maybe fucking stop it. I think today's the day. I think, maybe Cam Hayward has one great big game left in him. Maybe TJ has one great big game left in him. It's got to be today. I don't think TJ's done. I think he has a couple of years left. But this is the level we're going to see. He's going to be a 12-sack guy. He's going to make impact on the game. But he's not going to be the NFL Defensive Player of the Year anymore. He's just not.
What did you think about this?
You know what? I think they said, Aaron, what do you need? And he said, give me all the vets and let us go out there and do our thing. And I also think Aaron could pull a bend today. I really do. I think he could pull a bend if it's close or in the second half, or if they get down, he could just look over at Arthur Smith, flip him the bird, and say, I'm running my offense. I dare you to take me out.
I think I agree. I think at some point, Aaron Rodgers had a conversation with Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith and said, you know what? I'm not doing this bullshit offense anymore. You're going to give me what I want, and I'm going to show you guys how to win.
Yep.
I can't confirm that. There's probably never going to be something that comes out that says that, but I'm telling you right now, the fact that he's loading up on MVS's, I mean, we've had MVS for weeks now. This isn't like he's just got here. Adam Thielen gets brought in. He's a winning route runner who, for all of his downside is speed. There is something between he and Roman Wilson that he does not trust. He doesn't look his way at all. Roman is winning way too often for him not to be getting the ball. I was in an argument online last night and today. Oh, he's only got 12 catches on the season. Well, he's got 12 catches on the season because he can't throw himself the fucking ball, guys. I mean, he's doing his job and getting open, but there is a disconnect between here and Aaron Rodgers. Maybe it's to your point, Bob. Maybe he's not running the right routes. Maybe he's not running the routes the way Aaron wants him to run the routes. Maybe Aaron doesn't feel like he can trust him to win consistently. Mm-hmm. There's something there. I don't know what it is, because just as a bystander watching it on all 22, you would sit here and say to yourself, this guy should be leading the team in receptions, yards, and touchdowns right now. And it wouldn't even be close if we're giving him the ball as often as he's open. Yeah, there's something there. And the fact that he doesn't get a helmet. Now, Scotty Miller, that's probably special teams purposes. He's probably going to be the gunner opposite of James Pierre, because did Skoranek dress today? I haven't seen him.
Which, if we're talking Scotty over Roman, I understand it. If we're talking Scotty over Skoranek, that's a bad.
Then I really don't understand it. Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, we're not going to be running 5 wide the whole fucking game, so you don't need 7 receivers on the active roster.
Let me take a yeah. Ben's playing today.
Skoranek. Then I really don't understand the Scotty Miller over Roman Wilson thing at all.
I think it's Scotty Miller over Calvin Austin, because Miller last year, shockingly enough, if you go back and watch, Miller was actually our best blocking wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So he can block, which makes Arthur Smith happy. But let's face it. I mean, he can do what Calvin Austin can do. He can run that little crossing route. And, look, say what you want about Scotty Miller, but when he goes down the field, defenses pay attention, mm-hmm. because he can beat a lot of people. He's fast. I would be interested to see a Calvin Austin, Scotty Miller foot race. I think Calvin wins it, but it's closer than people think.
Yeah, I think that we're using Calvin Austin wrong. We're trying to use him like a pure Z receiver, and he's not. Even when he's in the slot, we're not using him the right way. We're trying to make him win one-on-one downfield like a jump ball specialist for a guy who can't catch the ball away from his body. That's not who he is. It's just not who he is. I don't understand. Some of the decisions this coaching staff makes just makes you shake your head. This is one of them to me. Roman Wilson should be in the lineup. He's done nothing that I can see that should take him out of the lineup. I don't get it. There's some trust and some, Tomlin has his guys that he just cannot bench. Calvin Austin's one of them.
Right.
And Roman Wilson is not. And that's kind of what it's boiled down to all season.
Uh-huh.
It's confusing. It's very confusing to me.
And, the Aaron, I think some of that is lip service, kind of like Ben used to do sometimes till he got sick of somebody where, oh, it was my fault. I should have played better. I should have done this. Aaron's a vet. He's not going to go out there and say, hey, why would I throw that fucking idiot the ball? He's supposed to be running a post and he's running a flag. I mean, yeah, he's wide open. It's because he's running the wrong damn route.
Yeah.
But then again, it may just be that, hey, look, I threw him the ball a couple of times early in the season. You know what? In training camp, the guy couldn't get out of his own way. So now all of a sudden I'm going to believe that he's going to be open. Yeah, and not to mention the fact you really want me to sit here for the 3 seconds it takes to get him the ball behind this offensive line? Are you kidding?
Vaughn keeps putting Roman with the Rams.
I've said all along, if you throw Roman Wilson up, and the Chargers don't need him anymore, but I would have thrown him up last year and see how fast the Chargers call, because Harbaugh was his coach. But now you got Trey Harris, you got Ladd McConkey, Johnston is kind of coming along. Keenan Allen's back in the fold, although he's probably, if it's not this year, it's next year that he's done. I would see how fast, if anybody would overpay, you would think it would be his college coach. But if they're not willing to pay or underpay, and that's why I said throw him up last year, then that's when you start worrying about it. Like, okay, maybe we did miss on this pick. Dog.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, we get these guys to get in the doghouse, and it's like there's just nothing they can do to get out of it, no matter what.
This is actually a good point about this 5.5. I've seen as low as 3 this morning on Underdog. I think Hard Rock was down to 4.5. They might be back up to 5.5. I got down on the Steelers at 6. So I don't like 5.5. 3 gets a little interesting to me. That's where I would be a little bit scared. But at 5.5, look, the Ravens and the Steelers, you know, you can count on one hand the times that game hasn't been decided by 6 points or less. So you give me 6 on that game, I'm down all day long.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Gonna be interesting. I have a bad feeling about it, but I'm hoping that the moves that we've made, the guys that are activated, means that we're opening the offense up. I hope the fucking Jonnu Smith experiment is over. That dude is complete garbage in this offense. He's not effective at all. Can't block. I mean, can't catch at this point. I don't even know what the point is. I do hope Pat Freiermuth has a good game in this. The zone defense against the Ravens, I'm telling you, this dude could eat up a zone. I think that's the way to go.
This is a good question. This is a good question.
Combined 4.5?
I'm taking the over.
I think I'm taking the over too, because I think Thielen could have 4 himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think Thielen could win a few quick routes and end up with 4 catches on his own, and MVS will probably target him once downfield.
This is one of those few games, and I've said all year long they should try to treat Aaron like they did Ben early in his career. No more than 25 or 30 throws. Anything over 30 is a problem. This is the exception to the rule. I think because the Ravens don't have a great pass rush, kind of like the Bengals didn't, and because they're going to sell out to stop Jaylen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell, they watch the tape. They're not stupid. They know they don't throw the ball down the field. Now all of a sudden you got these guys out on the field. We'll throw it down the field. Let's see what happens. Until Russell Wilson fumbled, let's face it, last year in that before the game got away from him in that loss in Baltimore,
he played good.
The ball. They were kind of moving the ball.
He actually played really good.
Yeah.
Sid, if this happens, I'm gonna crack up. I'm just gonna call. If you get Thielen and MVS out blocking ahead of Spencer Anderson,
yeah,
why not?
I do like Vaughn pointed out earlier. We don't root for him to lose, but losing is a nice consolation prize because we know where it's leading at this point.
Yeah.
If they lose this game, oh my God, Monday Night Football, that could be really. I heard Pony talking on with Florio on Pro Football Talk. He had him on as a guest, and he was saying that Steeler fans don't like going to night games. And if they lose this game, it'll be 2/3 full, and the 2/3 who came to chant fire Tomlin.
Yeah. I actually agree with this too. We've talked, I think 3 weeks in a row, Bob, where we've just talked. There's some simplified things that should be done on offense when we've done this war room, and they just refuse to do any of it, anything even remotely close to it. Like I agree, Sid. I think you're right on that one.
Yeah. I really, I don't just want to see Aaron go to, hey, open it up and through it, because we all know if that happens, that's him. That's not them. I just want to see him. They run a play in the huddle. He take 2 steps back, flip double birds at Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin, and say, "Nope," and then just go out and play.
Yes, yeah, I think so. I mean, Aaron obviously has had his success in the more West Coast style offenses. You've got to start spreading the ball out, because I'm telling you right now, the big problem with our run game, I aside from, I think the blocking scheme is not fucking very good either, but we're not built to be a great run blocking offensive line either. We're better as a pass blocking offensive line. But the way you can neutralize some of the deficiencies is you don't keep loading the boxes with 8 and 9 defenders. You spread the field out, and then Jaylen Warren with his burst, Kenneth Gainwell with his burst, you can't get those guys to squeeze through a hole and make a big gain in the run game, because you're spreading all of the defense out. You don't have 3 and 4 linebacker or 3 linebackers and a safety. A lot of times, what we saw in that Buffalo game, they had 9 guys in the box, a ton. That's why you can't run the ball. What the fuck is the offensive line going to do? You're outnumbered. I mean, you're outnumbered. The number game does not work in those scenarios. Get the fucking offense spread out. Then you'll create some running lanes against this Baltimore defense. The Baltimore defense is fucking bad. They are bad against the run, and they're not great against the pass. You've got to spread them out, just like what we showed with the Bengals game. Make guys like Roquan Smith play at their peak. He's not a peak player anymore. He's going downhill. Let Jaylen Warren win that one-on-one battle against Roquan. I'll take that matchup now. 2 years ago, I'd have said no. I'm not challenging Roquan. Today, I'm fine challenging Roquan Smith. Run duo as the blocking scheme, and let the linebacker have to make a decision. And Roquan is not attacking downhill anymore. Jaylen Warren will win that battle. And I'm telling you, like, if they spread this game out, you've got all these fucking receivers on your team right now. Go open the offense up and attack Baltimore straight downhill. Middle of the field and run game, and middle of the field in the pass game. Just go fucking right down their throat.
And one thing I do want to point out, this whole, that Derrick Henry's the key. He's going to have a great game. He doesn't need more than 20 touches. If the Steelers do spread it out and throw the ball and can put up points, because Aaron, when he gets down there, has been good at the red zone. Even during this bad stretch of play, he's been good at the red zone. If they can score touchdowns and put the pressure on Baltimore like the Bengals put the pressure on Baltimore, that offense is not designed like it has been in years past to put up 30, 40 points. They're just not. There's something wrong on the Ravens offensive side too. Now, I've been saying this name, and everybody's, oh, good, yeah, sure. Keaton Mitchell, that little bounce out, scat back guy who can take a play behind the line of scrimmage and turn it up and go. That's the guy I'm most worried about. I mean, bottom line is, if they come out and they start running the ball 8-10 yards down the field, they go right down the field, they don't throw the ball once, and they score a touchdown, it's going to be a long day. I know, but at that point, the only chance you got is to go 4 wide and just turn it into a 41-38 game.
Oh, I did want to point this out. I forgot to bring this up when we were going over the Baltimore offense. I do not, this is going to sound a little ass backwards, I do not want to see a quarterback spy at all. Lamar is gimpy. He does not feel right. Yes, he can still move. I would rather him continue to run the ball all day, because he's going to break down if he keeps trying to run the ball. He was struggling. He looked uncomfortable. Even throwing the ball, he looked uncomfortable. I'm completely fine not going spy and trying to win without the spy. I have a feeling we might see Patrick Queen kind of following him. I do not want to see a quarterback spy in this game. I'm okay with Lamar trying to push himself beyond his limit and then hurting himself in this game.
And as much as we dig on the Steelers for not making adjustments, I'm maybe not goal line, but maybe a 4-4 or something. Put 8-9 guys in the box and let Baltimore stubbornly keep running the ball into 8 or 9 guys. Because if any team will not come off their game plan, it is the Ravens. So if the Ravens' game plan is to run, and why wouldn't it be? Go out and throw it at it. It'll take them at least till halftime to adjust, if they ever do.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. So it's going to be interesting. I think the first 5 minutes of this game is going to really set a tone. And if the Steelers don't come out aggressive, both offensively and defensively, that's going to set the wrong tone. If we play this passive bullshit defense that we've been doing, if we play this conservative passive bullshit offense that we've been doing, you could see a world where Baltimore does run away on the scoreboard early and gets up 10, 13 points in a hurry. And then we're playing catch up the rest of the game, and we're not built to play catch up. We all know this. So I think they need to come out aggressive in this game. It's in Baltimore. I know that's kind of going against, what you typically do on the road. You don't come out aggressive, but I think they have to come out aggressive and play like this is for the division, because I think it is for the division.
Right. All right. So, guys in the chat, you've been great. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be back on Monday night to break it all down. Hopefully have a victory Monday. Trent, any final thoughts before we get up out of here?
Nope. Fuck the Ravens. Let's go get a win so we can rub it in all the fucking Baltimore fans' faces. Let's do this.
Exactly. All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night after the game, and go Steelers.
Well, take care, man. Got to get back.
Sure. Take it easy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I know that you will.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
I don't know about you, but I take comfort in that.